In the dawn of the world, the gods walked among humanity. And the greatest of them was Osiris, king of the living, god of the fertile Nile, of agriculture, of law, and sacred order. He was the anchor of Ma'at itself. With his queen and sister, the powerful goddess Isis, he raised Egypt from chaos. He taught them the secrets of the land, to forge a civilization from the mud and the sun. His reign was a golden age. But light casts a shadow. And Osiris's shadow was his brother, Set, god of the desert, of storms, of violence and chaos. Where Osiris brought life, Set represented the harsh, unforgiving wild. And as Osiris was loved, Set was feared. And in that fear, a terrible jealousy began to fester. The betrayal did not come in the dead of night. It arrived in the full glare of the feast, wrapped in a beautiful lie. Set hosted a grand banquet. Wine flowed, music played. And then, he revealed his masterpiece, a chest of breathtaking beauty, inlaid with gold, ivory, and ebony. A game. Set proclaimed, his voice like honeyed venom. A gift for the one whom this chest fits perfectly. It was a brilliant, cruel theater. One by one, the nobles tried. It was too big, too small. The game was designed for one man only. Finally, urged on by his court, the good King Osiris lay down inside the ornate box. It fit him perfectly. His smile of triumph was the cue. Set's own smile vanished, replaced by a snarl of pure hatred. His conspirators surged forward. The lid was slammed shut. They sealed it shut. They drove nails through the wood, poured molten lead over the seams. The coffin became a tomb. They carried it to the Nile and threw the living god into the rushing, uncaring waters. The great king was buried alive in the river he loved. When Isis learned of her husband's fate, her wail of grief shook the foundations of the heavens. But she was the goddess of magic, and her love was a weapon. She would not rest. She began a desperate search, scouring every inch of the Nile delta. She cut her hair, tore her robes, but her will was iron. She followed rumors, whispers on the wind, until the trail led her far from Egypt, to the distant shores of Byblos. There, she heard a tale of a miraculous tree that had grown around a beautiful chest, used as a pillar in the king's own palace. Disguising herself as an old mortal nurse, Isis entered the palace. She tended to the queen's sick child, and every night, in secret, she performed a rite to make the boy immortal. But the queen discovered her and screamed in terror, breaking the magic. Isis then revealed her true, radiant divine form. In awe, the king granted her the pillar. She had found him. She had found her Osiris. Back in the seclusion of the Egyptian marshes, Isis pried open the chest. There lay Osiris, pale and still. Her tears fell upon him. And with her immense power, the power of life itself, she fanned a spark back into his body. Just for a moment. Just long enough. In that fleeting moment of life and death, they conceived a child. A son, destined to be the Avenger. His name would be Horus. But the magic could not hold. Osiris returned to the Duat, the underworld. Isis left to gather herbs for the proper burial rites. She believed her king was safe. She was wrong. Set was hunting. He had heard the whispers of the returned queen. He found the hidden body of his brother. His rage was infinite. To ensure Osiris could never be whole again, Set committed an act of ultimate desecration. He tore the body of Osiris into 14 pieces. He scattered them to the farthest corners of Egypt, so that he could never be found, never be reborn. Isis's heart shattered a second time. But her resolve did not. With her sister Nephthys, she transformed into birds and took to the skies. They began a new, grim quest. One by one, they recovered the pieces of their beloved Osiris. All but one, which had been eaten by a Nile fish, for which Isis crafted a replacement of gold. Then, with the help of Anubis, the god of embalming, they performed the first sacred rites of mummification. They anointed the body with oils, wrapped it in linen, and recited the spells of preservation and protection. Through ritual, magic, and undying love, Osiris was made whole again. But he did not return to the land of the living. His journey was complete. He descended to become the Lord of the dead, the merciful judge of souls in the afterlife, the king of the beautiful field of reeds. He was the first mummy. And in his death and resurrection, he offered a promise to every Egyptian, that death was not an end, but a transformation. The murder of Osiris created the universe of the dead. The love of Isis made it a place worth eternity.